And howdy folks, Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here, taking a peek at the tropical update for September 9th of 2020, brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling. We got a couple of different areas to watch. It looks like we probably have up to 5. I tend to think that this little area around the peninsula of Florida is still worth watching over the next couple of days. We've got one of the invests, I believe it's 94L here. We've got Paulette out here, Rene here, and then what will eventually be 95L there. And, you know, September 10th, peak of hurricane season, so this is, standard operating procedure, so to speak. Tropical storm Paulette, pegged to be a tropical storm for at least the next 5 to 7 days. Wind at 60, gusting to 70 miles an hour with the pressure down at 996. You can see that the forecast cone does point it toward the east coast of the United States, but as of now, a lot of the model guidance suggests that beyond this forecast period that you can see on the screen here, that it will kind of pause around Bermuda and then take back off to the north and kind of back around to the northeast. Renee, not really much of a risk of making any kind of a landfall at any time, frankly. By the time we get toward Monday of next week, it's already turned north and it's going to remain out to sea. It'll probably do a little loop-de-loo out there. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's probably not going to bother anybody. Back up to tropical storm strength, wind at 40, gusting to 50. This is, again, pegged to be a Category 1 hurricane. We've got the area just off the coast of the Carolinas, which is going to be much more of a rainmaker than necessarily a tropical weather producer. I mean, the 30% chance of development is probably even generous. But then we've got this other little area that's moving across the peninsula of Florida, which some of the model guidance says may kind of drift across the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple of days. Also, as kind of a rainmaker, is going to kind of spread showers and thunderstorms across parts of the Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and perhaps even as far off to the west as Texas, as it kind of retrogrades back off to the west as it kind of glides around the ridge of high pressure just off to the north. And then this bad boy coming off the coast of Africa with a 50 to 80% chance of development as we head through the next couple of days. Good news here. I have some good news. It looks like some of the guidance from the last couple of days may not be holding up with some of the newer model data that's coming in as this thing gets a little bit closer to the coast and we get a better idea about what this may look like once it gets off of the continent. This may sneak off to the north and stay out to sea as well. I'll kind of break things down with our European 850 vorticity, 700 millibar moisture. Of course, you can see that little area across the peninsula of Florida gets into the Gulf of Mexico. Again, this a lot like Invest 94L over here. Mainly rain producers over the next couple of days and into and through the weekend. Outside of that, we're not really looking for any kind of tropical development with respect to either of these. We've got Paulette out here, we've got Rene back in behind it here, and that wave as it comes off of the coast of Africa back here. Now watch what happens, and this is on Friday as we get through the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and again, you can kind of see there's still a little bit of disturbed weather, vorticity, max air. It's just kind of spraying parts of the southeast with extra chances for rain. Paulette's out here about to get swallowed up by dry air. We've got Rene back here, and then that wave coming off the coast of Africa, which the last couple of days, a lot of the models have kind of done one of these things, and it kind of puts it into kind of somewhere in here as we head through, kind of the middle to end of next week. Well, watch what happens Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. You can see Renee's still out here floating around doing its best cartwheels. We've got Paulette here. The rain continues across parts of the southeast. But that next wave here, it doesn't make quite as hard a westerly trek. It starts to lift off to the north. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. There's probably going to be a ridge of high pressure up here, and you're probably going to have the flow around that, like so. You may get a little bit of a weakness, with maybe another ridge up here, a little bit of troughiness in it. You may get a little bit of a weakness to pull this thing off to the north, but I'm glad that this is showing up in the data. It doesn't make me rest a little easier at night for folks in the Caribbean and the southeast, but with this being the first time it shows up, I'm not ready to jump on board with, hey, this thing's staying out to sea as we head through the next X number of days. On top of that, it does look like we end up with kind of a weird, I don't know what this is, a little frontal boundary, a little boundary between ridges. I'm not quite sure what that represents in here. A little trough action, but that is also worth watching as we head through the next few days. But yeah, having this thing make a hard right to the north, hey, if that happens, we'll take it. But having this be the first time that this shows up and have it be such a hard right, I'm reluctant to believe it at first glance, but it's something we'll continue to watch. So there's a look at your tropical update for 9/9 of 2020, brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling.